Have you ever lost touch with reality? Have you ever found yourself completely out of touch with who you are and what is happening? Probably not. It's a very rare occurrence to experience psychosis, but it's not outside of the realm of possibilities, so we are going to talk about it today. And I'm going to make a connection with the tarot. So if you enjoy psychology topics, and if you're interested in the tarot and like ASMR videos, this channel is for you. And I would like you to subscribe to remain informed about new videos. I upload new ones every Wednesday and Sunday. So, let's talk about the tower. Symbolically, the tower itself represents a construct, a psychological fortress that you have built, or that's been built over the years for you as the model of standard reality. It could also be interpreted as your base consciousness. It's your regular, trusted old waking consciousness. Now, what you're seeing here is that there are some external factors coming in that challenge the construct of reality. And there's fire, and there's panic, and there's a storm and a tsunami, and there's a general sense of threat to this structure that was previously taken for granted. So when psychosis happens, the individual loses their sense of reality. There's a shock to the system. There's a shock to their perception of reality. And it can happen as a result of extremely traumatic events when an individual's model of consciousness simply collapses, when their model of reality rather it folds, and what's left of the individual is pretty much a chaotic mess. Now, it is important to note here that this is not something that the individual chooses. So whenever you encounter people who are likely experiencing or have experienced psychosis, it's very important to remain judgment-free, because nobody chooses it. It's a necessity. It's something that happens when the individual's capacity for stress is exceeded greatly, and there's just no way for the individual to process what's happening other than going into this psychotic state. As I've mentioned, it can be induced by traumatic events, but also hormonal imbalances or other biochemical processes that happen in the body and the brain that the individual has no conscious control over. And so it can happen very, very abruptly that someone's idea of what the world is implodes. And when we're talking about psychosis, this is obviously to a pathological degree, but this is something that can happen at a lower, more manageable level to us. And we all have experienced those moments when our traditional notion of reality is challenged. Let's say if you have ever been given horrible news, if you've ever been in a relationship that ended abruptly, seemingly unexpectedly, if you've ever been at a job and been fired, that's the energy of the tower. When novelty forces itself into your life in a really violent and highly unmanageable fashion. So it is difficult to deal with this, which is why it's important to remember that the tower, it's a difficult card. I would argue that it's the most difficult of all cards in the major arcana, probably, because it really takes away your sense of control. But what's important to remember is that the path will eventually self-correct, that you will find a way out of it. And ultimately, when the Tower card appears, it does because there's something that needs to be eradicated. There's something in your perception, there's some vulnerability in your life that was waiting to be exposed. And even though it is a highly unpleasant and dramatic process, it's not something that you could have avoided. And ultimately, the truth that comes after the storm, it makes it worth it. So when the tie between you and your reality is severed, it's important to keep in mind that perhaps the reality that was taken from you wasn't built on the strongest foundations. And this entire experience is giving you a chance to reevaluate and to build a more durable and more reliable structure. Or perhaps it is revealing the importance of acceptance, how it is inevitable that things will end, that things will be taken from us, and accepting our fragility, accepting the inherent vulnerability of our situation could possibly create a more stable relationship with reality. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, you can find the playlist that I'm building of these psychological topics, and the connections I have found with the tarot. So you can find the playlist in the description. And I hope to see you in our next video.